Hi there, it's Matt Samet, the founder of Fortress Financial. It's great to be here with you today. Anyways, I want to talk about what will potentially be the trigger for the next major contraction, both worldwide economies and stock markets. Our belief it's going to come from Europe. And we just wrote about it, but we think the biggest potential problem in Europe is not the southern countries that we constantly hear about. That's Greece, Spain, Portugal. Yes, they're a fiscal disaster. Yes, they have unemployment messes. Yes, their economies are awful. But the big problem comes from the bigger countries. If we recall back a couple of years, Greece was a huge deal. It drove everything into a bit of a tailspin. Well, you know what will drive it into a major tailspin is Italy. Our friends out there are an economic and banking disaster. Reality is the banks carry in non-performing loans $360 billion. To put that number in perspective, that's 20% of their yearly gross domestic product, i.e. their economy. That is monstrous. You really can't carry more than 10% NPLs, that's non-performing loans, or in theory the banks are bankrupt. So I actually just wrote a newsletter to our customers on it, and to give you an idea what's happened since the peak, their stocks, their big bank stocks, we looked at the top 5, are down between 65 and 98%. They are crashing, and they've actually gone down dramatically over the last 11, 12 months. So they continue to go down, and the market's telling us something. There's problems there, serious problems underneath, not problems that can no longer be hidden. Non-performing loans sit on books with a hope that growth will get rid of them over time, that these companies will somehow find their way. Well, there is no growth. Europe is stagnating. They have zero pretty much growth, and there's a number of countries that are actually in recessionary times. There's also deflation, which is a huge problem, meaning the price of goods go down. As much as that sounds good, it kills corporations, because what happens is companies see their products' prices go down, which kills their profit margins, and in essence, you see volumes go down, margins go down, you see many companies end up disappearing. It's the beginning of a cycle, and we think we're right there right now. So this is going to be really painful. So the big problem is absolutely stagnation in Europe. That's low to negative inflation or deflation, and low to negative growth. Italy is going to lead the way with a banking crisis. They're going to need bailouts, and nobody wants to bail out anymore. Who's been doing most of it? Well, you hear the European Central Bank, the ECB, but who is the ECB? It's driven by Germany. And right now in Germany, there are huge forces, political movements, both far right, far left, that are saying, that's enough. We don't want to give up our sovereignty, our monies for these failing countries. Huge movement. Brexit showed us that movements are real, alive. Trump, Sanders shows us that these movements are alive. It continues, and we'll see it expand into other countries wanting to leave the European Union because they don't want to cover the debts of these countries. They don't want to be dictated. They have to take a certain amount of immigration. We're from Canada, and we know immigration is important. And actually, reality is most countries don't even have enough immigration and birth rate to offset the people who are leaving their country through deaths. That's a dangerous phenomena. Why? The future will hold many retired people who want their benefits, they want their pensions, they want their health care. Who's got to pay for it? The next generation working. And if it's a smaller generation, it is big trouble. So anyways, the problems are just starting to mount. We see stock markets that are extremely expensive, companies that are both seeing revenues and earnings decline. The mess is continuing to build, but watch the Italian banks. Something will trigger, and here's the connection. Everyone says, well, if an Italian bank fails, big deal. They're connected intricately to other European banks, and for that matter, North American banks. There's an interconnectedness today among all world banks through derivatives. There's about $500 trillion outstanding in derivatives, which means there's a linkage between all these banks. It's dangerous. There will be more than ripples. There will be a tsunami if we see a major bank falter, and that will be the trigger that really will be the disaster to come. Anyways, bearer of good news. Reality is there's always good things at the end of it, and if you prepare, you can actually fare very well through this. That's what we help our customers do. Thanks very much.